Hello everyone, you're welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how I cut and sew this cute Boubou blouse that has scallop neckline, and also it has scallop designs at the sides. As you can see what it's giving, right? Looking nice and looking cute. Yes, I know. And the skirt tutorial is on my YouTube channel. I'll drop the link for you guys in the description box in case you want to see how I made the black skirt I wore underneath it. So this is what it's giving, right? We have scallop V neckline, the back is round neckline, and we have scallop effects by the sides, and this is how the backs look like. As you can see, there's a zipper. Yeah. Hi guys, my name is Fatima A. Yusuf, and on this platform I share sewing tutorials. Don't forget to subscribe, and if this is something you like to learn, let's get straight into it.
So I have my Ankara fabric. I have 3 yards here, a zipper. Then this is a gum stay or paper gum. I actually bought a yard, but you don't need up to that. If you have pieces at home, it's all good. Then I bought lining. I bought 1.5 yards of lining. You need your sleeve length from your middle back, so where you want it to be, how long you want it to be. If I want it to be very long, I'll be using 30. Then you need your round bust measurement, right? Your round bust measurement, then your waist measurement, and I think your hip is also needed. Depends on how long it says though. So you need your hip. So basically, and then how long you want the blouse to be. So those are the 4 measurements you need to make this dress. I want my sleeve length to be like 30 inches, so it can be long if I'll be able to get it, because I have 3 yards here and it's 34 inches. So what I'm going to do is, I want to get 30 after folding like this. So I need 30 by 4, 30 in 4 places. That's 120. And I don't think, yeah, it's not possible. I'm not going to get that. This is 30. 1, 2. So I'm not getting it. So what I'm going to do is, let me use what I can get. I'm going to measure 2.5 yards. "36 inches, right? So we have it like this, 2 yards. And what is remaining is not even going to be up to 1 yard. So now if I say I'm to remove 18, I'll be having 10 inches for scarf. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to be removing half inches for scarf, half yard, sorry, for scarf. For scarf. So I forgot the calculation was supposed to be, yeah, I think I'm supposed to be 30, what I want. So I'm going to move half 18 inches for scarf here, and I'll be using the rest for the body, anything I get. I'm going to remove 18 inches for scarf. So we have half inches, half yards for scarf. Then work with this.
So now after cutting half yard out of it, I had 2 yards plus 10 inches. So that's what I'll be making to that's what I'll be using to make the blouse. So the amount of fabric depends on how long you want it to be. So it depends on your sleeve length, you get. So that's why I'm going to fold it. Just give it one fold like this, right? And I'll place it on my work floor surface as usual. Since there will be a zipper, I marked 1.5 inches by the side here. I already marked it, and I'll just draw a straight line to join the points I marked, right? So it depends on how much you want to use. You can use 2 inches, your choice. And this other side that is closed, I'm going to bring it across to meet that line. So the one with the line is our back piece, while the one I brought across right now is what my front piece. So I'm going to take it to the iron and give it a good iron press, right? So I took it to the iron and I've done that here. This is what we have, right? Good. So now I'm going to mark out a border line, right? That's your starting line, and I'm also going to mark my end line. So you measure the length you want for your blouse. So that will be your top line, and then you already know our start line, right? Good. So now what I'm going to do is, you can see, right? We have our back and we have our front. Are we good? I think we are good. So now I'm going to take my measuring tape. I said to measure the length I had, and I had 45 inches. So that's going to be my gown length, or my top length in this case. So for neckline, I used 4 inches for the width. Then for the depth of the round neckline that's for back, I used 3 inches. So you can use any dimensions you like, you're good with. So that's a round neckline for what? For the back piece, right? Then for the front piece, you guys know that my V neckline is always at 6. So I used 6. Yeah. So I'm just going to draw that V. But when you're making this your V, right, you shouldn't draw it straight like the way I'm doing now. It should be a little bit curvy V type, so you can have space for your scallop. So I'm done with that part of the neckline. So I tried, I think, about 4 ways or 5 ways before I was able to end up with the method I want to use. Because all these ways I was trying, the blouse will not be wide on me. It's going to be very small. Or I'll be needing more fabric to make it. I'll be needing that 30 inches by 4 times 4. So I tried different methods. I think I tried about 4 to 5 methods. So I was able to remember, oh, there was this triangle Boubou that I once did. I also dropped the link for you guys on the tutorial. There was this triangle Boubou I once did. I was like, oh, why don't I use that method? Because that one actually saves some fabric. It makes you to manage fabric. So I was like, let me just use that method. So that's what I ended up using. But I'm going to show you how I did the back part here before I will now take you to the final method that I used in creating the blouse. So all these ones were just trial and error. I was marking and cleaning. You can see the effect of the chalks on the fabric. So now for the back piece, right? I went down, I measured where I want my zipper to stop. I'll be using the whole of the zip. You can use not up to, depends on your choice. You can stop at your waistline for your zipper. You can stop at anywhere you want. So I used 23 inches. That's where my zipper is going to stop. So I marked after my neck width. Then now, what is left here, I'm going to measure it, and then I'll be dividing it into my desired column or rows, depends on how you view it. So I decided to go with 2 inches. You can do your own 3 depends on what you have there. So I marked 2 inches, right? So I'll just use that to form my scallop using freehand. I don't know if there's something you can use to form the scallop, but I think there's you can use French cuff, but it's not going to be as deep as this. But I just trusted my freehand, and then I went ahead to make the freehand to use the freehand. So I just marked 2 inches in between, and I just sketched out my scallops. Then when I got to the end, it was more than 2 inches. So I just used what I had there, and that was how I created the back. So now let's go to the front. Now my shoulder divided by 2 is 8. I'm going to mark it here. Then for my sleeve length, I should be using about 24 to 27 inches. Depends on how long you want your sleeve length to be. You measure your full, if you know your full sleeve length, no problem. And your shoulder, all good. So I'll be using this, my afia that I removed for scarf, to just stand as a standby here. Not that I'll be using the scarf to sew, no. I'm just using it to help me to cut out what I'll be adding later on. So I marked 27 inches after marking my shoulder divided by 2. So I'll now take it slightly from that, my 27, to the end, right? So I'll just draw a slant line like that. So I'll just take it down. So I decided to like add about 1 inch after the markings, but there was no need. Just the first line is okay. You don't need to add to it. I didn't later use it. So that slant line, right, is all good. So I'm going to be taking the one I added one side, and I'm going to cut the slant line on the main fabric out. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. So after cutting, right, what I'm going to be having, the excess I'm cutting out by the down part, I'll be placing it back to the upper part where I placed down my half yard before, my half yard. So that's what I just use that one as standby, that one as a guide, you get. So now this is what we have here. This is what we're going to get at the end. You can see we have managed fabric, so we don't have to have what's it called, 30 times 4. So I'm all good here. What I'm going to do next is just that when you have that 30 times 4, the body, the down part will be wider, understand? But it's all still good. It's all good because you'll be making skirt if you have one full Ankara fabric. So you need fabric for your skirt, for your scarf. So now I'll just cut out the border line first here. That's what I'm doing. When I'm done cutting out the border line, I'll also slit open the side here. And also, I also slit open the side of this extension or addition that we are adding to the main piece. Then we have four pieces after doing that if we slit open. So each piece for each side, because even the main body is four, right? Two in front, two at the back. So you just stitch it to it, right face facing right face using 0.5 inch. So I also cut out the borderline on the extension I'm adding to it. I'll go to my sewing machine, join each piece to each piece. So carefully get to understand which one is for which one. Right face facing right face, and be mindful of your up and down part of the extension so you don't make mistake, please. So I'll take my sewing machine and I'll just stitch right face facing right face using 0.5 inch, right? So I'm doing that for the four sides. I've done that and this is what is giving. You see, we've extended the length of the sleeve, right? So now what I'm going to do is measure what I have at this side here, and then I'll be dividing it based on how wide I want my scallop to be. You can use 2, 3, 4, 5 based on your choice, based on how many you don't want it to be plenty. You can use 5, but for me, I made use of three inches in between. If you watch the video carefully, you know I used three. So I started from up till down. And one thing you would notice is that your lines will be slanty. But I didn't had the full fabric. I didn't manage fabric. I was able to get that 30 by 4. Then I might have a straight line. Then I will have to be going in. There's another method to do that though. But this one, you'll be having a slanty line, which is all good, no problem. And like I said, when you're making your first slant line, right, you should not add 1 inch the way I did because you are not going to use it afterwards. I didn't use it, right? So I just went ahead and marked my three inches, right? Then the down parts, I won't be able to get about what I wanted, but we'll still get there. I'll tell you what I did. So I had three inches all through. Now I'll just go ahead and use my free hand. I extended the lines right a little bit, so I've extended the lines. And now I'm going to use my free hand to form the curve. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be marking 2 inches on the line horizontally. 2 inches, right? So you can to guide you in case your free hand might not be straight. When you mark 2 inches, right? Then vertically at the edge, you can mark since you have 3 inches divided by two, you can mark the half of in between each line, but that's going to be stressful. So I marked 2 inches, right? So from that 2 inches, I'll take it to meet the 2 inches that is up. There's 2 inches up, 2 inches down. So I'll take it from down to meet up. From down to meet up. But then if you are able to mark the middle of that your 3 inches, right? So you make sure that the one that is coming from down is stopping at the middle of the 3 inches. Then from the middle of the 3 inches, you are taking it up. If that will work for you. But this is what I did. I just took it from down, up, all through. That was what I did to form my own scallop. And I use my free hand. If you can't even get it to be, how will I put it, to be same thing, just make sure they are closer. They look similar. Even if you're not able to get everything looking similar, anything is a style. Be creative about it, no problem. So I marked 2 inches, right, up and down. Then I just form my curve. Be creative. It mustn't be plenty like mine. You can make it small, few, big, based on what you want. So now I got to the down part, right? And I measure what I had left, and I had 5 inches. So I'm going to mark 3 inches downward. Now I'll be using the rest of the 2 inches to finish everything. So I still did our normal method, mark 2 inches up, and then from down, I'm going to take sorry, I marked one for this one. That's what I did. Now I'll just take it. I marked one instead of two for this down part. And I'll just take the other one from up to down like this. That's what I did. You get? So I'm done drafting out my scallops. As you can see, after like about 5 trials and errors, I'll go ahead and cut out my fabric. So I'll cut out the neckline. So for the round neckline, I just have to notch where it stops, the width, so that I don't touch the front piece. Then I'll just cut out my round neckline for the back. After doing that, right? So for the front neckline, I told you don't make it straight like mine, the way I did. Make it curvy. A curvy like V neckline is better. Then so you can have enough scallop. I did that afterward when I was sewing the lining to it. So I increased the length of the depth of my neckline here to 7. And then I'll just mark the width I want for my scallop, like we did for the side. and I will just use my free hand to form my scallop. But when you make the curvy V-like neckline, you have enough to go around. You can go about having like three scallops by each side, which was what I did when I was sewing the lining to it. So that's what I'm saying. Don't make it slightly straight. Make it a curvy like or curve like V-shape neckline. That's better. So I was done with the front neckline here, and I'll just cut it out carefully. You know, when you're working with scallops, so you have to be careful not to mistakenly cut what you're not supposed to cut. You get? So after I'm done with the neckline, I will now go ahead and cut the side. I know people will ask me, can you add shoulder slope? I didn't add, but I figure out you can add. From here, you can just mark your shoulder slope if you want, but I didn't do that. I just went up like that. So this part, you have to be careful about it. And I think maybe what I would do if I'm creating this for another person, I would like maybe mark it on a lining, do my drafting on a lining, then place my Ankara fabric. So I can cut everything at once. You know, it's easier. You draft on your lining, then you place, and when you're done drafting, place your Ankara fabric, place the lining on the Ankara fabric, then you now cut everything together so that you can get equal shape. You can do that. If you can cut out on your lining, it's all good, no problem. So I just carefully, I was so careful with this cutting. So after cutting that, right, I'll also cut out the neck and the back one, but I'm not touching that my zipper allowance. So you can see where we have a straight line for that zipper allowance. That's where I'll start my cutting from. Now cut the scallop for the back piece. So that's what I did. And when I was done doing that, the next thing is to get my lining and then cut it out. But me, I was so lazy. I would say I was so lazy because that's why I said better to draft on lining and then you cut the lining and Ankara fabric together at once. It's easier, trust me. So I was done cutting the Ankara fabric here, right? You can see how lovely it looks like. Like you, I was happy when I got to this point because I had tried many methods. So now I place it on my lining. This is the 2.5 yard lining. Then I just cut it out. I was so tired. I was so lazy to retrace the scallop on it, but I later still did that when I was sewing. So this is it. At this point, you can easily, if you know you can do it, retrace your scallops on the lining, but you have to make sure you iron your lining very well. You get? So at the edge where we have the scallops, I had to iron, I put the paper stay on it or your paper gum, anyone. So I put it on it at the edge and also the neckline for the front piece so that the scallop can stay well. Now I'll just go to my sewing machine. I'll sew the round neckline, the two sides, then I'll leave the shoulder on stitch. So neckline the two sides, then I'll leave the shoulder on stitch. So I was done here with the sides and the neckline. So you see, this was where I did that curvy like V neckline. Then I added the number of scallop I had at the neckline. So what to do next after sewing is that so I had to cut off the neckline here. Yeah. So this was me just trying to show you that I did that curvy like V neckline. Then I added my scallop. Then I will go ahead and notch in between each scallop inch sorry notch in between each scallop, carefully notch so that you don't touch your stitch. So I did that for back and front, as you can see the neckline, the two sides, right? So that's what I did. Then now what I'm going to do is take it to my iron, turn it out and give everything a good iron press. So that's what I'm going to go and do. It needs ironing, very hot iron. So I'm done ironing. This is our back piece. Isn't this lovely? So I forgot to actually remove shoulder bulging allowance. If you've been watching my video, you know how to do that. So you can do that. Even if you don't do that, no problem. I didn't do it. But you will not make the clothes be fitted. It has to be a little bit free so that your zip can overlap. So this is how the front look like. It looks so lovely. Plus the Ankara print was everything match. So now the next thing is to join the shoulders together. Remember, I did not stitch the shoulder. I only stitched the neckline and the two sides. So I'll place each side for each side, right? So you place the shoulder from the starting to the end, like this, right face facing right face. Then the other side of the shoulder that is on stitch, I'm going to place my hand inside that. Then I'll use that to drag this piece inward, making sure that the Ankara are together and the lining are together. So that's what I'm going to do. So you see, I already placed a little bit inward, right? Then I'm going to place my hand here and just drag it out. So that's what I'm going to do. So one thing you should do is that when you're stitching back pieces. One side you should leave it, one of the back pieces for the zipper allowance, leave one side a little bit of few inches on stitch so you can use that one to join the shoulder of the other side. So now make sure that everything aligns. You see your ankara are together, your linings are together. Then I will stitch just on a straight stitch. I've done that here. Then this is for the second one now, the second shoulder. Like I told you, when you're stitching, leave a little bit of allowance on stitch for you around your zipper allowance. So I did that here because you'll be needing it to bring out this part. You get? So now place it again, right face facing right face carefully. Make sure they align well. Then I'll take a little bit inward. Then I'm going to place my hand in that allowance that where I told you that you should not stitch some few inches where you have your zipper allowance. Don't stitch all this side. So that will help you to drag out. So this is the part I didn't stitch, right? So I'm just going to place my hand inside. I need you to drag that one out. Now go to my sewing machine and run a straight stitch across it. So after doing that, you see what I have a very neat result. So this is how your shoulder would look like when you turn it outwards. So you can give it a good iron press. Right, so you're done with the shoulder for both left and right. The next thing I'll just go ahead and do is fix my zipper. So you can do it the way you normally fix your zipper. So I'll just go take my zipper and then fix it here for both sides. And after doing that, this is what I have after fixing the zipper. Like I said, you can make it to stop at your waist, your hip based on what you want. You get? So now it's just to impute my bust and my waist measurement. So you don't need your hip measurement. Now for my shoulder, I'm going to go down by my armhole. I'll be using 10. Depends on how wide you want the armhole and free how you want it to be. So I'll be using 10 for mine. Right, so I'm going to mark and 10. So inward of that 10 from the middle, I'll divide my bust by 4. I'm going to mark it. So what I'll tell you is when you mark it right, then you add 1 inch to it or 0.5 inch. It's better for it to be very free on you. So after marking it, I will now add 1 inch. I'll do that to the left also. Still maintaining the same way I measured for my shoulder. This is just me trying to recheck if my 10 inches is my 10 inches. So now after 10 inches, I'll go down to my half length. I use 16 inches for the waist. It depends on where you want it to stop, but I feel 16 inches will be okay. Depends on where your skirt is starting from. So you can start to use 17, 18, depends on your choice. But basically for this, you only need your bust and waist. You don't need your hip measurement. So for the waist, I told you guys I use 16. So for middle, I divide my waist by 4 and I added 1 extra inch to it. So I mark it to the left and to the right and I'll join the 2 points together. I'll take it to my sewing machine. You can get a straight line, it mustn't be slanty like mine. So I'll go ahead and just run 2 stitches on the line, right? And that's it. So that was how I made this stylish scallop Boubou top. If this video has been helpful in one way or the other, please and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, drop a comment, and I'm going to see you guys in another tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notification bell. See you guys in another